Hello everyone, this is Sai Lakshmi from Analytics Plus and welcome to this webinar on how to manage IT projects like a pro using analytics. If you have any questions, please use the questions panel on the bottom right corner of your screen to post your questions and I'll send out the answers via email right after this webinar. Alright, let's get started. If you're a project manager or an accidental project manager, someone who had to don the cap of a project manager due to project demands, you know that managing a project is never easy. An IT project involves a lot of people and varied technology, and if you're tasked with bringing together people and technology at such large scale, and get them all to work in unison, it can seem pretty daunting. Which is why we've come up with a list of reports to help you track your project progress at different stages. In this webinar, we'll discuss how analytics can aid project management and help project managers deliver successful projects on time. Now, before we explore the different reports in this session, let me tell you a little bit about Analytics Plus, which was used to create these reports. Analytics Plus is a business intelligence and analytics solution from ManageEngine. You can set up the integration between Analytics Plus and ManageEngine Service Desk Plus or any other help desk software in a matter of minutes. Setting up the integration with Service Desk Plus is simple because Analytics Plus offers out-of-the-box integration with Service Desk Plus. If you're interested in setting up this integration, head over to your Service Desk Plus admin panel and look for the Advanced Analytics option and follow the on-screen instructions. Post-integration, you will see a set of reports and dashboards straight out of the box. Integration with other third-party help desks involve a few additional steps. Now, before we move on to project tracking using analytics, let's look at the Project Manager dashboard that can help project teams get a comprehensive view of the overdue or backlog work for their respective projects. In many ways, running a project is like driving a car. Let me explain this statement. So, what's the first thing you do when you start your car? First, you turn on the ignition and then you look into your car's dashboard to make sure everything is okay. And there are no red flashing lights to indicate that something's wrong. This is a lot similar to managing a project. As a project manager, you need to keep tabs on everything that's happening in your project ecosystem. For instance, you need to know if all your projects are running on schedule, whether there are any delayed milestones, and whether there are any pending or overdue tasks that could derail your overall project schedule. Now, that's exactly where the Project Manager dashboard comes in handy. It can give you a brief of the different activities happening in your projects and provide a comprehensive view of your project status at a glance. Let's now look at the Project Manager dashboard. Now, this is what the Project Manager dashboard or any typical dashboard in Analytics Plus looks like. At the top, you can see the filter panel with separate filters for timeline, site, status, priority, department, project, and project owner. You can customize the dashboard using these filters to view a specific set of information. For example, the Help Desk Manager from Sydney Field Office can choose Sydney from the site drop-down to view reports pertaining to his geography. All right. Now, Below the user filter panel, there's the KPI widget section where you can see KPI indicators. You can see the number of active projects, active milestones, as well as delayed projects and delayed milestones. You can also see the average cost per project as well as the resource utilization. Now you can use a comparison indicator to view the trend. Here is the resource utilization trend for this year as compared to last year's percentage. Using this, you can get an idea of how resources were utilized this year and last year. And you can also see how you've improved from the previous year. The KPI widget section is followed by different charts. Let's now look at the different charts in this dashboard. The project progress report displays the different tasks in this project and how far each of those tasks have been completed. The project completion overview displays the number of projects that are overdue for 0 to 30 days, 30 to 60 days, and projects that are overdue for more than 60 days. Going by this report, our project is way behind schedule and needs immediate attention. You can also click on the report to view underlying data to see which projects are delayed and use that information to take corrective action. Next, we have the project load report that shows you the number of tasks and milestones in each project. The active milestone report gives you an idea of the number of milestones and their statuses. You can see the number of closed, on hold, open, and resolved milestones. Next, we have a pivot chart for delayed projects. This one lists the names of the projects against the scheduled end date, along with the schedule and the percentage of milestones and the percentage of tasks that have been completed under each project. A glance at this pivot makes it easy for everyone in the team to focus on the projects that are delayed and needs immediate attention. This pivot is followed by the project workload split report that shows you how work is split among different technicians. Next, we have the resource utilization percentage, which shows you how resources in your team are utilized. Finally, we arrive at the cost aspect of a project. A report of expensive project gives you the estimated costs of the project in descending order so you can see costly projects. The project cost analysis is a handy report for project managers because it allows them to see the cost difference between project estimates and the actual cost. The project manager dashboard gives you a glimpse of how the different projects are doing and also provides guidance into your project's next steps. Using the edit option, you can drag and drop different reports to customize your dashboard. The project manager dashboard is a useful tool when you want to get a high-level view of all your IT projects as well as identify bottlenecks. Now, you can use the project manager dashboard or use some of the out-of-the-box reports that I'm going to show you to check the status of your IT projects. Now, I've divided these reports into different sections based on the value they add in different stages of a project, such as reports that can help you in project planning, the ones that are useful to track day-to-day progress, and reports that can help in tracking overall status. Planning is one of the most crucial steps in project management, without which it could lead to a lot of hair-pulling moments. Having a solid project plan can save you a lot of time, money, and headaches. So before you go ahead and map out a plan for your projects, I'd suggest you start looking into data from some of your past projects. Now, your past projects may have nothing in common with your current project, in the sense that the different tasks, milestones, risks, and dependencies involved may be vastly different. However, you can get a basic idea of what went wrong and use those insights in your current project's planning phase. One of the first reports I'd start with is the projects that were completed late. Now, in this report, I have the number of projects on the x-axis and the actual end date on the y-axis. And on the legend here, I have priority. Now you can see that most of the normal and medium priority projects were delayed considerably. Now, using the slider in the filters panel, I can see that the normal and medium priority projects were delayed by anywhere between 1 and 260 days. This indicates a lack of proper planning towards medium and normal priority projects. This also means that I have to watch for such projects more closely in order to prevent delays. Underestimated projects. Now, have you ever thought you can do something last minute only to realize that it actually took longer than expected once you start working on it? This is something that should definitely be avoided with a project. It is important to accurately estimate how much time it would take to complete a project. Project time estimation is something that takes time and experience to get it absolutely right. One way to learn from past experience is to look at projects that were underestimated in the past. The Underestimated Projects report gives you a list of projects along with the actual time it took to complete it. You can see that some projects like Avaya replacement, internal server patch-up, Mojave upgrade, and server migration took longer than estimated. The next step is to analyze the tasks associated with these underestimated projects and look for patterns such as issues that have taken longer than expected to complete, technicians who consistently take a longer time to finish their work, and task categories that generally take a long time to complete. Learnings from these old projects can be used while planning new projects. Project tracking. Once you have a concrete plan in place and design your project, the work can commence. Once your project has started, the next important thing to do is track your projects regularly to see if everything is progressing according to plan. A project burn down chart is the best tool to check if your project is on track. A project burn down chart captures the actual work completed against the total work that is pending. Let's say you have a project to distribute a critical firmware to update endpoints in all your remote offices, and you have 6 days to complete the project. As per your estimate, this project requires 30 hours of work. The ideal way to go about this project is to spend about 5 hours a day for 6 days and complete the project incrementally. This incremental way or ideal way of working is represented by the ideal work completion trendline. In reality, however, this ideal way of work is quite hard, and things are often done ad hoc based on resource availability. So instead of concurring with your ideal work completion trend line, your actual work completion trend line will look something like this. If your actual work completion trend line is below the ideal trend line, it means that your project is ahead of schedule. And when the actual work completion line is above the ideal trend line, it means that your project is behind schedule. From this report, I can infer that my project is way behind schedule. Now, depending on the critical nature of my project, I can either funnel in additional resources, or as a worst case scenario, consider altering the deadline of my project to ensure successful project completion. The project burn down chart is a great project management tool to ensure consistent progress is made throughout the course of the project. Work is distributed evenly and the project doesn't fall behind schedule. It can also tell you if you need to allocate additional resources when there's not enough progress made. While the project burn down chart provides a good means to count down to your target deadline, the project burn up chart is a good way to work up to your deadline. Here we have the total work in days represented by the red line and the actual work done in days represented by the green line. So if your project requires 40 hours of work, which has to be completed in 10 days, the ideal way to go about it is to allocate 4 hours of work each day. Using this report, the project manager can determine if he needs to pace up by adding additional resources or funding, or pace down by removing resources or work items to complete the project work on time. For the project manager, the burn-up chart is a great tool for regularly checking the progress of your projects. Additionally, this chart allows you to instantly identify problems such as slow project progress or any deviation from the planned project path. Burn-up charts are useful to check if work can be added or need to be removed from your projects. And it allows you to visualize a realistic completion date for the project by looking at the current progress rate. And the next set of reports we'll be looking at are the milestone burn down and milestone burn up reports. Now, projects are all about ensuring that key deliverables are achieved on time. Now, the best way to go about that is to break down large projects into small deliverables. Now, milestones make it easy for project managers to break down work, assign ownership, follow up progress, forecast completion dates, and ensure smooth project completion. Now, similar to tracking project progress using project burn down and project burn up charts, you can also track milestone progress using the milestone burn down and milestone burn up charts. Similar to project burn down, in the milestone burn down report, we have the ideal work completion trend line and the actual work completion trend line. Now, these lines allow you to predict whether the milestone will be completed on time or whether you need to make a few changes or step up work to make sure your milestone is completed on time. The milestone burn-up report is similar to the project burn-up report. This one allows you to compare the actual work completed against the ideal work that should be completed. This allows you to spot deviations easily. We now move on to the final section of this webinar, overall status tracking. Sometimes project managers might not have the time to keep very close tabs on their projects on a regular basis. In such cases, a glance of the overall project status can help bring project managers up to speed. But how do you collectively track the status of projects at a single glance? Particularly large projects that have many milestones and tasks. Let's now look at 3 useful reports that can help you track your projects at the granular level in a very short time. The first report we have is the project status overview. If you want a high-level view of things that are happening in your projects without going into too many details, then the project status overview is your perfect choice. In this report, you can see details such as projects, the milestone associated with the project, and the percentage of completion of each milestone, along with the tasks and the percentage of tasks completed for each project. In this pivot, you also have a column for schedule that tells you if your projects are on track, delayed by a few days, or too far behind. Similar to the project status overview, you also have an active milestone pivot that gives you a grid view of the individual milestones along with associated projects and the milestone duration and the estimated hours required to complete the milestone. You also have the schedule, which indicates how far ahead or behind the schedule your milestones actually are. And you also have the scheduled end date. This report is quite similar to the previous project overview grid that we discussed about. So I'm not really going into details here. Now let me quickly move on to the last report for the day, the project tasks by status. Now this pivot is perhaps the most important report for project tracking because it lists down all tasks ordered by the task owner, and it provides additional details like the number of tasks that are still open, have been put on hold, and those that are closed and resolved. Now, here's why I told you that this report is important. Using the user filters, you can filter these tasks by their scheduled end date. Now here, let me choose this month. Now, this allows you to see the status of tasks that are due for the current month. And if you notice too many tasks are still open or put on hold, you can get the concerned task owner to complete his dues right away. To summarize, let me give you a quick rundown of all the points discussed in this session. Plan ahead. Before you chalk out a plan for your IT projects, look back at your previous projects and identify underlying issues that might have delayed those projects. Look for details like specific issues or categories that took longer to complete, technicians who repeatedly delivered late, etc. And use these findings to plan your future projects and be prepared for obstacles by including buffer time or additional resources. Track progress. Once your project has commenced, review, revise, and monitor projects to make sure you stay on track. If you notice any inconsistencies or deviations from your plan, take immediate action to avoid delays. Spearhead your team to success. Provide status updates to team members regarding the milestones and tasks assigned to them and set clear expectations on deliverables. And last, keep everyone in the loop. From program managers to portfolio managers, communicate with everyone involved using role-based dashboards, provide frequent updates, and inform them about when a project is likely to be completed. That brings us to the end of today's session. I hope you found the reports in this session useful. These reports are offered out of the box for Analytics Plus integrations with Service Desk Plus. If you're already using Analytics Plus, please upgrade to the latest version of Service Desk Plus and Analytics Plus. If not the latest versions, at least make sure your Service Desk Plus is in version 9422 and Analytics Plus is in version 3950 to avail these reports. If you're new to Analytics Plus, scan the QR code flashing on your screen to download a free 30-day trial of Analytics Plus. Well, that's all from me now. If you have any questions, please drop an email to sailakshmi.b@zohocorp.com. Thank you and have a great day.